Thank you, everyone. Thank you for logging on to A Table for Queens. This week we are still discussing One House Over. The focus for our book club this month has actually been conditional and unconditional love. We are speaking now on a traditional relationship. It started off with a nice courtship between Odell and Joyce. Both of them are from a small southern town deep in the south of the United States. They are is still during time of doing segregation. Last week, our focus was we were focusing on does gossip destroy relationships in a small town? This week, we are actually really finna focus on do we think Odell had an actual conditional love? If so, what gave the hint? And also, let's be honest, as women, do we really like Odell at this point? Because now their relationship are starting to transition. So we're going to focus on the relationship. We're going to focus on the marriage and the courtship. So, Miss Leora, I am going to call on you first. What do you think of Odell?
Well, at first I liked him. I thought that he seemed to have, pretty good intentions. Although, he wanted what he wanted, but we all want what we want. So that's not necessarily a terrible thing. The fact that he wanted what he wanted because she wanted what she wanted, but that was just the scene with the aunt where he called his aunt a bad name. And I thought, I don't like him. That was the beginning of me not liking him when he stole, he did something he didn't have any business doing, which that still did not make me not like him. But that scene when she was going to give him the job, and I know it was a job that he didn't want, you know, but nevertheless, that just him saying that, I don't think he called her that. Maybe I know he just said it in his mind, but just reading it, it just kind of turned my feelings towards him a different way. But I like the way he treated her. I like what he said to her and his in the person to person relation. I like that about him up to this point in the story where we are. You know.
All right. Dr. Barnes, what do you think of Odell?
I like Odell. I like the way that he encourages Joyce and try to build up her confidence about herself. And then he gives her good comments and tell her how smart she is and all the good qualities that he see in her. So I do like that part. I wish that as far as their relationship, I know why he got into the relationship with her. I know why he married her, and we know why she married him because she just thought that um, if she didn't continue the relationship with Odell, then no one else would come along. But the sad part about it was they settled for each other, and they settled for a relationship that they really wasn't, I guess, committed to. And we're getting ready to dive in and see what happens as a result of just getting into a relationship, and not it's not really out of love, but it's out of convenience.
Yeah. Um, I do agree with that being out of convenience, but I think often, and I know some women may disagree if you're listening to this, but I think that's the biggest aspect for a woman. We feel like once we get to a certain age, it's a pressure to be married. And I think marriage is a beautiful thing when it's done right. I know no relationship is going to be perfect. And I know everyone has a certain condition, and there's not anything wrong with having conditions, but it can't be selfish conditions. For me, I liked the aspect of how he did. He always reassured her. Then he even admitted, like, after they got married, he was falling in love with her. But do you think if someone cheats on you, do you think they still love you? And I think that's a big thing with women where a lot of us differ at. Do we think is love taken off the table once cheating is involved?
Mm.
I
I
don't
think
think so.
I think you can still love the person even though you go out and cheat on them. I don't know what other what fulfillment that you're not getting at home that you think that you can get outside of the home. But I still think that there is love. It's just that you have to fulfill some desires that are within you that you may not be thinking that you can get them at home, or they could be fulfilled at home. So you go outside of the relationship. It may what is the word? When you love someone and then they disappoint you, the love may be, what's the right term for
I would say, I guess you could say it shifted or it kind of alters it.
it?
It disappoints you to a point where it hurts you, but I think, and I don't know,
You
I
have to
guess
just work. So it's like,
right.
okay, so say for instance that you're really, 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 really head over heels for someone, and they can just say something, or you find out that they've done something. It's like that love that you had for them that was so strong is not there anymore. You still care for them, but the love is not there. It's different.
It is.
It becomes different. So you just have to kind of try to work your way back to that place that you were in at first. Yeah, sometimes you may not get back to that place how it was before, whatever occurred in the relationship. But I do know that the love will still be there.
Miss Hooper, you were finna say something?
I agree. I think about it from a spiritual perspective, as it relates to a marriage, you know, um, especially intimacy. I like to connect taking communion to sexual intimacy with a husband and a wife. It's a reminder, do this in remembrance of me when you're taking communion. And when you a sexual intimacy with a husband and a wife is it's a reminder to Christ of that commitment that you made. So we wrestle not against flesh and blood, I believe. And in the process of that, you find yourself, what the enemy is tempting you to have sex before you get married. And then once you get married, the temptation is to have sex with other folks and not the one that you're married to. It's just this ongoing, battle of wanting to be or needing to be where you should be. And I don't think committing adultery is no greater than any other sin, that we commit, but it is one that you have to heal from, and is devastating, to children, to a marriage. But it can be, a lot of couples testify that they have overcome, and there are beautiful stories and lessons and people that share their own experience and they help other people.
I think for me, I think you can forget. Let's be honest, whether we're married or not, I think everyone at some point in our lives we have forgave a significant other for cheating, because it's like, I don't know, it's like for some it's like cheating is the easiest thing for a lot of men or women to do. It's hurtful, but it's a way also it tests your relationship, it strengthens your bond. I have heard a lot of women say they expect to be cheated on, but it's the respect. Like, if you cheat on me where I won't find out, I won't know anything at all. And I think in this book, what Odell did not get, once you cheat on Joyce, it's the thing that always have hurted Joyce the most and has hindered her. The town gossip. We from a small town, so if you cheat on me, it's guaranteed that someone's gonna find out. So I don't think she'll love him any different, but I think that bond and that connection that she had with him be different, because it's like, now you cheated on me and you have gave something else for the town to talk about. Not, you didn't just hurt me, but you hurt the same thing that I was trying to save myself from constantly being talked about, constantly being gossiped about. Because that's the worst part of cheating, when everybody around you knows what's going on and you don't know. So now it hurts, because not only did you hurt the relationship and the bond, but it's also a matter of respect, and you have embarrassed me. A lot of people may say it's not embarrassing, but it honestly is, especially when everyone knows about it except you. Okay. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah. So good to see you all, Doris and Kim.
Good to be
So
here.
ask Doris the question, Coretta.
Right. Let me see. I'm make sure I phrase it right, because y'all know my mind be everywhere. I asked the question, like, do you think that a person can still love you even though they cheat on you?
Well, I don't know what's in another person's mind, but I'll speak from my point of view. if it was me doing the cheating. If it was me doing the cheating, yeah, I still can love that person, because if I didn't love that person, I wouldn't be trying to hide it. I wouldn't care nothing about them. I wouldn't care if they found out or not. But if I go through the extent of trying to hide it, and and no nobody, I don't want nobody in the community to see or anything like that, yeah, I still love that person.
Kim.
Oh yeah. So logically, um, the answer would be no, because it would, we go through this whole, if you love me or if I loved you, I wouldn't want to hurt you, so I wouldn't dare cheat on you and make you feel some type of way. But honestly, I would say yes, it's possible to love someone and cheat on them, or be cheating on them and still love them. So yeah, it's definitely possible. Logically, logically, nah, but I would go with yes, because I wouldn't say just because that person cheated, that means that they didn't love them, but they definitely um broke their trust. I mean, there are things that friends do that are disloyal. There are things that your parents do that are disloyal. There are things that we do. That doesn't mean we don't love the person that we're being, dishonest or disloyal to. We love them. And we know, like Miss Doris said, it's going to hurt. And we try to hide those things and keep them from those people. But at the same time, I wouldn't say, you know, just because you did this thing, it doesn't mean that you didn't love that person. And I'm not gonna say, oh, we're human and we make mistakes too. Now you know better. You just do it anyway. So it's possible.
For Odell and Joyce, do y'all think Odell really loved Joyce? Because notice he kept saying that in the book he really loved her, but do y'all think he loved her, or did he love the idea of her?
I think he was a little shady. Um, I think he was a bit shady. Starting out, he had an ulterior motive, and you can say he grew to love her, but again, he went back and forth a lot between saying he loved her, but also if I lost her, I would lose these benefits. So not even the idea of her, it was what she came with. Because I do believe that if she did not have the things she had attached to her, if she had just been a regular smuggler old person with no benefits, then he wouldn't have looked twice at her. So no, he probably wouldn't even gave her the time of day to even see if he could grow to love her. So I think he grew to love her, or loved her. I would say yes, he loved her, but I think that was, because he knew she had a benefit attached to her. That was his real reason as to giving her a chance.
Anyone else?
I think he really loved her. She was such a beautiful person inside, and out. And when a person is that kind of person, and inside and out, yeah, they love him. He loved her. Yes, he knew, but that one day when her parents passed away, she gonna inherit a lot. And that's no different from what people look at and think today. Um, if you happen to marry somebody that you know their family name and they have some wealth, of course, yeah, you anticipating that when his family die, we gonna have something. He gonna get something, and of course, got children, I'm gonna get something as well. So that's not anything new. Um, According to the book, she wasn't the best looking person, but she didn't look down upon him. She cared, she did everything. And then he didn't treat her any differently. He didn't show her, he didn't give her any reason for her to suspect he was doing anything, because his attitude and the way he acted toward her never changed. Never changed. He didn't treat her any differently when he started that new relationship than what he was doing before. So I think honestly, he truly loved Joyce. If he didn't love Joyce and he wanted that red bone, which something he wanted all his life, he would have left Joyce in a nanosecond, and he wouldn't have cared about what she got, you know. But he stayed right there, right there.
Anyway, do y'all think it's ironic, because as Shea was saying earlier, like this battle is not against us? It seems like after he got married, that's when he was his most tempted. And then what he, like he said, what he desired the most, that's what came along. Do you think that's normal in relationships, and that's why she based the book the way she did, to show we are at our greatest temptations, we are supposed to be closer to God, because marriage is supposed to be the uptune of what God ordained. So do you think that's why he was most tempted, why she wrote it like that, or just for the show us just in general weakness of a man?
I think, my opinion, I think she wrote it the way she wrote it because that was his dream. Before he met Joyce, his dream to have a red bone, but he said that the ones that he saw that were pretty, either they were married or already attached to somebody. He always wanted a one, and and it just happened he didn't meet one until after he had gotten married. And he fulfilled his dream. He didn't want to be with one. Marry one or permanently be with one. He just wanted to try it out. They just like some men today, some African American men, and and some white men, white women. They want black men. They want black women. Black women want white men. They want to try them out. A lot of them don't want to marry. They just want to try it out and say, "Oh, I've been with them. I've been with an Asian. I've been with a white. I've been with." I had a man to tell me. He said, "I've been with every woman except an Asian woman. I ain't never been with an Asian woman before." So be married to a black woman. Somebody just, it's just like a buffet bar. You see stuff. It's so much stuff there. A lot of stuff you like, and a lot of stuff you want to try. You just hadn't had the opportunity to try. So now you're a man that what Chris Tucker said, you don't mess with a man in a buffet bar, in a buffet line. So when you're in a buffet line, you'll try a little this, you want to try a little that. You might not put much on your plate, but you'll try a little this and try a little that and see if you like it. If you don't like it, you won't go back. You won't try it no more. But if you like it, you'll try it again. So he just got caught up. He liked it. And it was a young one. And he liked it. And he just got caught up. And I ain't making the excuses for him, because he didn't have to do it, but the opportunity presented itself. And that's what he did.
I think that when you ask the question about did Odell really love Joyce, I think he cared about her a lot. I think he loved her qualities, things that she brought to the table. But I think he cared about her, and it grew more and more over time. He may have liked her because she was real considerate. She was real nice, genuine person. But I think deep love, I don't know if he had that for her or not. And then you mentioned the part about our weaknesses and when we get married. His weaknesses were women. He had experiences with a lot of women, and that was just in him, and he knew the type, of woman that he really, really wanted. And so when they got married and they're supposed to be, just dwelling on one another, those temptations, those things come heavy and they come strong. Your weaknesses, I think the devil puts them in your face, because you're not strong enough to handle it. So, and the red bone was his weakness. And he probably just was going there just to, like he's told Milton, if you all have gotten towards that end, towards that chapter of the book. You know, my plan was just to get it that one time and go. But he ended up, you know, coming back, and then their relationship grew. But I just really don't think that he cared for Joyce. I think he cared for her. I don't think it was a deep, deep love for her.
Well, no, if it was just care for her and wasn't a deep, deep love, when he got with Betty Jean and had them 3 boys, and he still didn't leave Joyce, it was more than a care.
No, I mean, there was no jobs for him, and he wasn't gonna leave Joyce and be back on the street again with nothing, and have to go back to what Aunt Maddie's place and work. You know, he wasn't gonna do that. He wasn't going to leave Joyce. He was gonna continue to do what he was doing with Betty Jean, seeing her as much as he could. If he could continue to lie and get away with it, he was gonna continue to do that. But he wasn't gonna leave home. And he said that so many times. He wasn't gonna leave.
Well, it seemed like he didn't love Betty Jean.
He didn't. He may not have loved them. He loved what they could bring to the table.
Yeah.
But he loved himself more than he did them. It was different things that he liked about them, different characteristics, different things about them that he liked. And maybe if he could have found a one woman with all those qualities that he wanted, you know, he probably wouldn't have cheated. But
well, I think he did. I think he did love. Joyce. He loved her because if I'm telling you, if I don't care or whatever, caring about you ain't gonna keep. If this man marry you because I care about you, that ain't gonna keep nobody there. I care about you.
Yeah, he cared about Joyce. He liked Joyce enough. He cared about Joyce, was a sweet person, but Joyce also had what he needed. He could have inherited what her parents had. That would have put him in a place financially where he had never had anything. So nobody was going to give up that. But Betty Jo didn't have nothing. She was just 23 years old and end up having babies by him, but she had nothing at all to offer him but a good time and kids.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he was with Joyce for 5 years. 5 years is more than care about you.
Okay. All right.
5 years is more than care about you.
Her 10 years if he has if he see what his future could look like if he continued to stay with her. Her parents were old. I mean, they had already allowed him to take over the store. Yeah.
But I don't think a marriage will stay together 5 years on the basis of I care about you.
So when we get to the next book, you'll see they've been married 15 years and he's still with Joyce in the next series.
Yeah, because it's a series. It's called the Neighbor series. For me, and just like I said, some of the things I say, I talk to you know, I come from a family full of men, and my cousin, and he always used to tell me, I remember when he settled down and got married, he loved his wife, but he would also cheat on her. And it came to a point in time when they ended up had to separate. And he always used to tell me, because we were very close. We grew up in the house together like sisters and brothers. And he had a crush on one of my friends. And every time she would come to my house, he would always come see her and flirt with her. But he never did take it that far because he knew he was married. And mind you, he knew the type of person that my friend was. And they never did take it that they'll laugh and joke. And anytime that his wife would put him out, and it was before they were married, he would always come. And he wouldn't go to no other woman's house either. He would stay right there on my couch. So we had got used to a point. It's like I already knew they was into it. And me and him just had that bond. But he always tell me, he said, cuz I'm gonna tell you just like this. He said, you can tell the difference in a type of man. He said, when a man get money, you gonna really see what type of man that is. He said, because when a man know he got something and enough money to stand on his own, that's when he gonna show his true color. He said, so either you gonna see a man's man, you gonna see a man that's gonna be a fool, or you just gonna see one that's gonna be a plain old dummy. He said, a dummy will walk away from home and ain't gonna take care of nothing. He said, a fool gonna go out there and play in the street because he know he got something good at home. He said, but a man's man, even when he tempted, he ain't gonna go there because he don't want to disrespect himself like that. So his thing was, I know I'm a foolish man, but I'm not no dummy. He said, I ain't no man's man because I ain't never had no man to teach me that. He said, because all the guys that I hang around tell you it's okay for the cheat. It's like this is the thing that you're supposed to do. And when him and his wife finally did separate, the only thing he did knew, the girl he finally settled down with, he said, I never marry her because ain't nothing there for me and her. She was a good time girl. He told me she had nothing going for herself. He said, I never marry a girl like that. And my question was always, why you with her? And his thing was, because I know I can chill with her. I can do with her house. I couldn't do at my wife's house. I can sit and chill. I can smoke at her house. Me and her smoke weed together. We drink together. My wife didn't do that. She didn't play all that. She was about her business. He liked the business side of his wife, but he didn't like the simple fact where it was certain stuff he couldn't put up his feet and do. But he knew what type of guy he was. He was like, I know I'm foolish. I know I ain't, because he did fool enough stuff to lose her, but I'm not gonna be no dummy to walk off from her. In the end, she finally left him. So I don't know if that necessarily explains, because to me, Odell not a dummy. He foolish, but he ain't no dummy, because like you said, if I go over here with Betty Jean, I think he really did love Betty Jean, because you sat there and you made all those children with Betty Jean, but he wasn't stupid enough for to know I can make a life with Betty Jean, because first of all, we from a small town. If I leave now, I got to take care of these 3 boys, and I didn't struggle before. I'm not finna go back to struggling like that, because now I'm at a place where I can put my feet up in it. He felt like a man. And like he said in the beginning, I'm not finna go back home to my mother and my father's house with my mother and my stepmother. I'm not finna go back to the madam house and be cleaning up all this nasty stuff. Ain't no other jobs here. And he didn't have the mindset to move. And plus, he learned a lot of stuff from Joyce that he couldn't learn from other women. Betty Jean couldn't teach him nothing. He was a teacher to Betty Jean. So to Betty Jean, he felt like a man. To Joyce, he knew he was her man. But as he said, the book got to get further, because if he gets to a point where them parents die, he can totally take over that store and everybody in town respects him. He'll leave Joyce. He'll leave her. I really believe he'll leave her, because you find a lot of men like that. Because at this point, he just foolish. Get to a point where he have enough money, he'll leave Joyce.
What did y'all think about when the neighbors that moved in? Melvin and Yvonne. And when they went to visit them, they went back home and they talked about them so bad. And they talked about their house, and they talked about their furniture. They talked about their shoes. I mean, everything they could think of, they laughed at them. And I was so shocked that surprised me that they would have done that. I mean, Joyce, I was feeling bad for Joyce, because she was, her self-esteem was low. She always thought that she was unattractive. She wasn't going to ever meet anybody. Odell came from a place where he never had anything and couldn't get anything. But they had the nerve to laugh at someone else and criticize someone else.
Money changes people. Money changes people. And I think
they did.
I don't think Joyce was never the type not to gossip. I think Joyce just never had anybody to gossip with, because everybody was always gossiping about her. But she was comfortable with him. And I feel like she was wrong for that. But you often see that. You'll find people that be unhappy with themselves where they're down talk everybody else. And Joyce was not happy with herself. I don't think, like he said, Odell loved Joyce, and I think that's why he kept trying to say it out loud, to convince himself that he actually did love her.
But convince himself.
He was trying to convince himself. And when they was talking about other people, I think that there was a sense of pride that made him feel good, because he know he not at that place no more. He felt like he got everything he had, and money made him. Money made him. And Joyce was just satisfied, oh, I got a man, and I'm doing better than them, because she already knew she had money. Anytime when she got into it with the lady at the store, that's the first thing I'm gonna tell my parents to fire you, because she knew whether she was right, wrong, blue, black, or purple, her parents were gonna take on her side, because they felt like they had to protect her. But they were wrong. But it shows you just her true nature. It shows you what she had in her. We already knew Odell had it, because Odell let us know from the beginning. He had a woman for everything that he needed before he married Joyce. He had one that could cook, one that was good in bed. He had too many options, because he felt like he looked good.
That's what I was going to say earlier. I was going to make reference to the fact that, and it's like he didn't know how to be with, how to just be content with one person, So I was going to make reference to what you just said, one good in bed, one cook, and, so
yeah,
he wasn't right.
You weren't right.
Well,
You know, I was
to me, it was funny what they were saying. I laughed about it because it was just funny. How they talked about them and everything, and I mean, they were just what they were. And most time, I guess, people feel they can talk when they have just one Reese's Pieces more than somebody else, and they feel they can talk.
When they have
So
what now? When they have what?
one one Reese's Pieces more than somebody else, they feel they can talk. And what they were saying, it was really funny. It's sad to talk about anybody because uh when it as you read on, uh, they laugh. The one they were talking about laughing. Because they ain't as dumb as you.
Yeah.
What they said, don't judge a book by the cover. And definitely couldn't judge them bootleggers.
Nor could you judge those dirty hillbillies.
Because but Joyce and Odell was dumb because their parents had warned them, the preacher had warned them, people had warned them, don't be going around the bootleggers. And then when you found out those people was cons, and when you saw all those cards at their house, that should have told you something. You risk everything just to get a free drink.
Well, Joyce was intrigued by that. Just think all her life she been at home with her parents. She hadn't experienced nothing. Joyce wanted to hang out with them more than Odell. She was excited about that life.
I guess so, the juke joint life. Because she was used to drinking, but she wasn't used to drinking bootleg whiskey, which was better than that elderberry wine that she drank all the time. But and I think the fact she wanted to be nosy, just be nosy and hear stuff. Because in a way she thought she was better than everybody. Aunt Maddie, Willie Frank, Yvonne, Milton, she was better than all of them up in there. But then she wasn't better than all of them up in there.
But she knew not to invite her friends over there. But what do you all think about what Aunt Maddie said that night? They really got under Joyce's skin. You remember when she was telling her, to watch him? And she was also saying, why are you letting him, why is he always going places by himself? Which Joyce's mom and dad was asking her the same thing. And she was just saying, we give each other space. Sometimes he wants to go fishing. And she was really stuck on that tale that his daddy was so sick and Miss Ella Mae was in the streets and with another man, and she didn't care about to take care of the dad. But I just felt like, really deep down, I felt like Joyce knew. Kind of, yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. I think she intentionally turned a blind eye to it. She didn't want to know. When he was home, he made her happy. I mean, they were happy. So if something was out there to be found, as hard as and long as it took me to find what I have, how dare I go looking for something to destroy it? So I mean, even though she didn't say it, she intentionally turned a blind eye. A lot of people say, I don't want to know. So she didn't want to know. She didn't make a big issue out of it, because when he came home, like Miss Doris said, when he came home, he loved on her. He cared for her. They didn't argue. They didn't fight.
They did not.
They
didn't argue at all.
Long as he stayed in his lane and she stayed in her lane, it worked for him and it worked for her. And again, I don't think that he didn't love her, but what I do think that if she did not have benefits attached to her day one, when he met her, he would not have given her a second thought. Probably would have slept with her and went on or something, but definitely not married her or nothing like that. And I do believe, although he's a cheat and he had a whole nother family on the side, I do believe he was a certain kind of man, because you mentioned the dummy, the fool, and he was a certain kind of man because he was not sloppy. He arranged his schedule. He did all that he could to keep it from her. And I really truly believe that he did not want to hurt her feelings. And
he didn't want to hurt her feelings.
No,
I,
he
I,
don't
I,
have.
I don't. I mean, even though she had a benefit attached to her, I think he cared enough for her to not want to see her hurt. Because sometimes we get in relationships with people and you don't love folks. I mean, I don't love you, but I'm not finna leave you either because I don't want to hurt you. And you may be a nice person, or you may have whatever it is attached to you. I don't want to see you hurt, so I stay there. Or we have kids together, so I stay there. Or people fall out of love all the time and stay for a
Stay there.
whole lot of reasons. So
Yeah.
just because somebody stayed for somebody with somebody for a long period of time, I'm pretty sure we all can think of a relationship where we would say these people are not in love, but they together and probably ain't finna leave each other either.
They make it
So
work.
I don't
Mm.
I don't think longevity mean equals love. I don't. But I- I think he loved them both. He loved them
Yeah,
both.
he loves them both.
And again, he was the type of man that he wanted what he wanted. This woman was beneficial. She had the money. And there was a plus that she was a nice girl, and and she was fun, and she didn't
Right,
argue.
and the
And I
sex wasn't
really,
bad either. He enjoyed the sex
yeah,
with her.
and I really don't think that he would leave her for if he could have it the way he have it now, that's how he would keep it. He got the best of both worlds. He got his kids over here with this woman, and he got his money over here with this woman. And when I get tired of this woman or this sex or this situation, I can always go over here to this house, and here's a whole different environment for me. So I think if he could have both of them, he would keep it that way. I don't think he would leave either one of them if he could pull it off.
It's like, why would he though? It's like, why would I leave Joyce? Because he can also learn something from Joyce. See, most men be afraid to learn something from women, but he wouldn't. Remember when he took her for when he was talking to the madam, he was like, she was like, oh, she trying to talk prop, she trying to do this, and he thinks this is like, now I would love to be, he wanted to be like that because he knew the rough situation that he came from. But Joyce wasn't slow because when she met his father, he had already told her a story like his father was senile. And remember what his father said? His father wasn't senile, like, oh, I'm happy he ain't the big black girl no more. His father was very well in his right mind. And he was just letting, okay, when you ready to leave. Odea had an agenda from the beginning. Joyce had an agenda from the beginning. They had a conditional love for each other. Do I think it was real? No. I think you see a lot of relationships like that. I do think you have a lot of people out here that do be looking for unconditional love and ready to share their life with someone because they want to make it real. And I do think you find a lot of people with conditional love. Every time I think about that saying, and God raised my cousin, so he gone now. But I do think you have relationships like that. You have a man that he can be foolish, because a lot of even women, we be foolish, we make mistakes. But you have some that just be plain dummies. They'll destroy their whole life and everybody else's life around them just for to satisfy their own needs and make themselves happy. I don't think Odell was like that. Odell was just foolish. He was used to having a variety of women, and he knew how to manipulate people to get what he wanted. And Joyce did too. They had a lot in common.
And I don't think he was gonna hurt Joyce either because yeah, I don't I think he was gonna really work hard that so that she wouldn't find out because he was gonna lose a lot. And then he knew how much she wanted a baby.
Yeah.
She tried so hard after the miscarriage and she couldn't get pregnant even after 4 or 5 years. She still couldn't get pregnant, and she constantly talked about having children. And then but he so easily was able to have a family, the family that he wanted. And he was crazy about those boys uh in the town nearby. So he was going to try for that reason as well. Was going to try so hard for her not to find out, because that would have really tore her apart.
Yeah. And then he didn't want anybody else to think less of him either. Remember how the madam seen, oh, and I think a lot of it was not necessarily to protect Joyce. I think it was to protect his own reputation. He didn't want people to think less of him. Because if people really found out what I was doing, would they still come to this store? What legacy would it bring to her family as well? Because he knew how people saw her family. Remember, they was one of the prestigious families. I don't think it was all just to protect Joyce either. It was protect himself and his own reputation. Because you, the guy that came in and married Joyce, you was a knight in shining armor. They didn't gave you leeway to this store. So he had a lot to protect from himself as well. And then she couldn't get
Yeah,
him what he wanted.
yeah, because if he had a lost it all, he would have been the laughing stock of the town, more so than anybody, because you came from the slop jar and all that stuff, you know, to the penthouse. And then he'd be laughed at because you were so crazy. You had it all and you lost it all. So he would be looked at more than and then he wouldn't be able to take care of Betty Jean and them children. No way. So their life have been all stuck in the mud, you know. And then eventually somebody would have picked Joyce up. Joyce would have picked somebody up, picked somebody would have picked her up. So George would have been in a better position, but the thing is, she was so scared that nobody would want her and everything. And the men used to call her Moose and everything, how they used to talk about her. And
But
I just
probably Willie
call her
Frank
everything.
probably would have liked him.
Betty Jean,
Ain't nobody want no Willie Frank.
Willie Frank,
She could have bathed him
somebody.
and bought him some clothes from the store.
He was
He would have
missing.
been just
Yeah.
fine. He would have been just fine. They didn't say
Wait,
anything
wait.
about his teeth missing. None of that. He was just a little bit unclean and a little unkept. So she could have bathed him in some hot water, Kim.
No,
Got some clothes from the store.
did she say he was missing teeth and the ones that he did have had tobacco stains on them?
Yeah,
I thought it was Milton that was missing the teeth.
I
No,
thought
that was Willie Frank.
It was Willie
But they
Frank.
wasn't missing in the front, were they?
They were stained.
Yeah, they were missing.
Tobacco.
They were missing in the front, and the ones on the side had tobacco. Now I know
I
some
think
teeth,
the
but
ones
I
in
don't- if I
maybe
don't know about
maybe
no
some was
teeth.
missing on the side. I'm gonna have to go back to the chapter because I don't
Yeah.
think he said
Wait
they
a
was
minute.
missing in the front.
But hold
Because,
on.
well, if they had things in their store
No.
for hives and for women, you know, good things that the women
That
needed
was-
personally, they had something to get the stains off his teeth.
That
And
was too much work. He was a convict. He would have ruined the reputation. He was not a good fit. He
But
was
hold on, if they ever find out about Odell, that's gonna destroy her. And think about it, you got 3 kids that I couldn't have. That's gonna destroy her. And hold on, even what Donna said, now mind you, we all women on here, and y'all know we won't be want to fix no man up, not unless he already kind of cute.
What they say,
They
build
didn't
a
say he
booth.
was ugly. They didn't say he was ugly.
True.
And,
But
and another thing we do know, people good at hiding secrets too. So
Sure
they
will.
probably gonna all work together to keep them cheering and whatever else hid. Them folks don't want that scandal to pop up. So I think she'll try to hide, her and her family will try to hide that scandal before they
Yes, they
fix
will.
up Willie Frank and make him no, not Willie Frank.
Oh, but let me tell y'all, as I was reading, and Aunt Maddie was telling her story about having to stay in the slave owner's house, and when he didn't want to sleep with his wife, he would sleep with her, and she had 4 girls. I
Mhm.
really thought Betty Jean could have been one of her girls. I don't
I
know
did
why.
too.
I thought,
I did
okay,
too.
this is
I
really
did.
getting interesting. I wonder is Betty Jean and her sister, because you
I
know
was-
they are mixed.
Yeah, I
And you
was
never
waiting
know.
for somebody to be kin to somebody. I was waiting on it.
Somebody,
Small town.
somebody.
Small town.
And even
Small
Yvonne,
town.
the way
Yvonne.
she's talking, somebody's gonna be related to someone very close.
It's always a series because this a 3-part series, but y'all know Mary Monroe always makes her books in series because she had the guy series and these are called the neighbor series. And y'all know
I
in
was
small
disappointed.
town, especially back in those days in the 1930s, y'all know a man would have 1 wife, but he'd have 10 families everywhere else. So it's normal.
And you'll see somebody on the street and people be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, girl, you look just like. Oh, you look just like such and such. Girl, is such and such your daddy, your
That's
mama?"
the truth.
Mhm.
They go back to them
Mhm.
back in the back in
Back
the
in-
day. You didn't have Facebook, you didn't have all
Right.
this social media stuff where you can the touch of a button, you can see who doing what happened. Back then they hid stuff and you didn't know who
hid.
you were into, and you got brothers and sisters and cousins in 12 different towns.
Yeah, and mind you, and some of them women knew they had wives, but as they said, it was just like if they knew that man was taking care of them, they were gonna sit there and keep that secret, keep that man taking care of them, because they had Joe Blow on the side too. But it's different these days because if they messing with your husband or your boyfriend, they gonna put it on social media. They gonna tell your co-workers, anybody they can get close to, you gonna find out.
Call
Back
your
in-
job, call the church and tell the church.
Yeah, yeah, they gonna tell anybody they know.
Well, no, you used to call it church. So that
Hold
was
up. I know what she about to say. And it's Sunday, so we're gonna let them slide.
mm,
But we're gonna give a pass. Yeah.
Yeah, by chapter 17, I was disappointed. When I
17.
actually finished, and I was disappointed with the way it finished. I heard Miss Donna say she was disappointed. I was disappointed too. So I hope the next book is better.
I think Mary Monroe, I said, Lord, Mary Monroe.
Maybe it's gonna continue in the next series. Maybe she's gonna pick it back up in the next.
But let's be honest, if she basing it on real life, everything in real life, and mind you, look how quick everything going. Odell got married real quick because she was pregnant, even though that she didn't have the baby. So it's like you can tell it's speaking real life because during those times, remember the song, Papa was a Rolling Stone, wherever he laid his at was home. So he got home. Ain't no telling how many more women that Odell gonna pick up in the next series, how many secrets that gonna come out, because you know now we don't know secrets not until it's a funeral. He got 10 kids, probably they'll be like, hold on, who that?
And you know, Betty Jean want to have a daughter.
Want to have a daughter, and he
does
too.
Having a daughter.
And then he may have some other kids because you know he said he didn't know if he had any else out there.
Right.
I just believe that it's gonna be when we finally finish her series, we're gonna see this person was related to this person, you know, right there in that community. And you know, that could have it would be it would be so good if Betty Jean was Aunt May.
We'll see how long.
That's how she needs to end it.
35 cents an hour.
Right. Or hold on now, you got to think about this because they always speak about her parents and how traditional and everything they is. Mind you, they weren't true to this because when she had that was pregnant, they didn't want her to marry him. Ain't no telling what secret the mom and daddy got either. Even though they supposed to be into the church and got this prominent status, it's gonna be something with the parents too because it's like ain't nobody squeaky clean in this book. Everybody got a secret because Joyce even had secrets because like she had to tell her mama, no, mama, he was not my first. I had sex when I was 14. It's like, and she was sexually frustrated. She was ready to go to bed with Odell on the first night. Like, no, I want to go back to the room with you.
Yep. So
and
the
my
mindset
mention of how it was not uncommon. She was like, I had sex and then had sex with seven. Not just I had sex when I was 14. I had sex. I have been having sex, and just like everybody else, like it was not a, oh my God, we're around here saving ourselves. She made reference to how everybody else was
right.
doing it
Everybody
too.
was having sex.
Like, mama, let's not play no games. So.
But you know, during that time, it was taboo for women to speak about sex. You know, like I said, you can go on social media and women put it out there just as worse as men, or you got OnlyFans pages. You have so much stuff that's sexually explicit these days. It's like nothing is private. You have to be
right, which goes back, y'all speaking all this tradition, but she like, look, let me put this out here while you trying to play like you don't know what's going on. So again, mom and daddy may have some secrets too.
Yeah, when her mama told her sex was you would only have sex if you were having children or trying to have children.
Yeah.
Joyce was probably like, okay, let me explore this a little bit more and try to see what this sex thing is and why we have to wait, why we can only experience it when if we want to have a child.
Remember, that's what she said. And remember, she said she had never had a lover like Odell because sex wasn't good with everybody else. But with Odell, that was like her first orgasm. Remember, she had never had an orgasm with anybody but Odell. But of course, Odell had so many women. I'm pretty. I ain't no telling what all he didn't know. And then he'll even tell you when Miss I can't never. What was the madam name?
Aunt Maddie.
Yeah, Aunt Maddie. Whenever she went to sleep, he'll have sex with the girls.
And then Betty Jo introduced him to something else. Betty Jean introduced him to another life. Yeah. So he was having a good time.
Odell, you remember Odell said that when his wife, Joyce, when he said with George was a tiger. George was a tiger.
Yeah, he said he was surprised. He said he was surprised that she would. So she surprised him. So he said you can't judge a book by its cover. And this book is showing you that because this book saying one house over. So we gonna really see what's going on one house over because it's a lot of secrets. And in small towns, y'all know it's a lot of secrets in small towns. It's a lot of gossip, but it's a lot of secrets.
And there's no telling what Sadie and what's his name? Was it Bubble? Buddy? What's the guy that worked in the store?
Was it Buddy?
There's no telling what they know.
True, because they was nosy. Remember, anybody that came in the store talking, they was always lurking around listening. They was always listening.
They exaggerated stuff too, though. So I wouldn't. You're right. They knew stuff because they was nosy, but they also exaggerated stuff.
Yeah.
They made their own gossip.
No, they didn't exaggerate. They just lied because they lied about everything by Joyce. He was talking about Joyce was flirting. They just lied. And that's why, and I like it how he protected her because like he told y'all keep y'all mouth off her. Because he had to, because they made her out to look one way. And man, that was their judgment on that. So they probably exaggerated her looks, but everything else that they had told him about Joyce, that was just a lie. It was just being dishonest. It wasn't no truth in it because we never. I think he's just doing it to make himself feel good. Because Buddy thought he was a ladies' man, and he didn't like how they described him. He wasn't cute either. I guess he just had a job.
Yeah. Maybe Odell was the best looking man in the book.
Had to be. Had to be.
Based on how they describe Milton and Willie Frank. So maybe he was the best looking man in the book.
Had to be. What you finna say, Miss Hoop?
Oh, I was just, I just took a deep breath, because the book was a lot. So I hope the next series is better. But it's just too much mess going on, but we did have an interesting conversation earlier, as it relates to Joyce and her response, actually turning a blind eye to it. That whole saying, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, then it makes sound, so, and it's kind of like, I don't care. And I think Coretta, one of you mentioned, people saying, they know men is gonna cheat, and so they don't care, or they don't worry about that. They're not looking for anything. They're enjoying the moment, enjoying the day, but it's too many diseases. It's just like and you could die from it, So it's hard to turn a blind eye to things. But so I hope the next book is, even the way it ended, I know I'm jumping 20 chapters ahead, but so
we gonna conclude it next week because for right now, everything that's going on is just telling you the backside of it. It's telling you everybody's life. It's exposing everyone's secret. And truth be told, is like, isn't it life? Nothing is always what it seems. And people protect the people that they love the most, and they believe what they choose to believe. People can do something right in front of people's face, and he can or she can be wrong as all get out. But if they love them enough, they gonna cover their faults and make it okay. And like I said, Odell reveal his true colors if he really could, but he ain't gonna play that card because Odell know he got a lot to lose. But if that woman with them 3 kids won the lotto, he'll leave Joyce in a heartbeat because they can run off and go anywhere together and start a new life. Right now, he know he can't afford to do that. And like I said, what skills do she got? All she got is Odell to take care of her. And that's why she was popping out them babies like that. She knew she found her meal ticket too. She ain't thinking about Odell. He got a meal ticket.
And he was easy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence about him leaving Joyce. I really am. I got my reasons. I'm on the fence about him leaving Joyce. I hear you, and I do believe that because she had the benefit attached to her originally, he wouldn't have given her the time of day had she not had money. But them being together, him spending the time he has spent with her, them going through what they've been through, I can't say that I believe that he will leave her if he had money of his own. Like if
Okay.
he came with some money of his own, I'm on the fence with that one.
Okay,
That's just my thought.
true. Okay, let me give you a perfect example. Do y'all remember the movie Temptations by Tyler Perry, the Diary of a Counselor, however it was? Y'all know. Kim and me talk about it all the time, like which guy was cute and stuff like that.
The one when the girl when she got HIV.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when she had to warn the girl? Now you would have never thought she would have left her husband. They grew up from childhood together. They had so many memories together. And it was not they were broke. He was just frugal because he kept telling her, baby, wait, I'm gonna get you your own business. For right now, let me get this pharmacy so I can get your business. But here come this guy. And mind you, look at the guy, he wasn't that cute, but he had all the money, putting everything out there in front of her. And time he dangled that business in front of her, and she had started doing drugs and everything with, and she left a man that she had known all her life from childhood, understood her family background, and she walked away from him with money because he had.
I still say it's something about him in particular, because even with that movie, she would voice her opinion about certain stuff that he did and didn't do before she even ran into that man. So they had issues already. Mind you, Joyce and this guy, they don't, I mean, there's nothing that either one of them are complaining to each, to the other one about, honestly.
Because
I
both of
mean,
them got ulterior motives. She don't want to be
right.
lonely, and he tired of being broke. So they had issues. They didn't have them with each other, but they had issues because he was always on the sideline thinking. And then that night, remember, he was playing out because he felt like he wasn't even finna fight for Joyce. Because when he went back to Aunt Mattie's house, but when he realized the job he had to take, he like, nah, I'm gonna take my chances with Joyce.
But they're still different. They still haven't been together. They still hadn't been together to the point where she done lost the baby. That I'm on the fence with it. I'm just gonna leave that right there. I'm on the fence with that one.
I think he got love for her, but I do really believe if he had more money to leave her, I think he'll apologize, and I think he'll turn back around and start messing with her on the sly. But I believe he'll walk away because he always wanted to be a father, and she got something that she couldn't give him. She got those 3 boys. So maybe, I guess we'll just have to see. Guess we'll have to see. All right. Would anyone else like to say anything before we conclude?
My money is on Joyce. My money on Joyce.
How much?
She can look like a moose or a ox or whatever.
Mugly.
But my money is on Joyce.
Now I don't think Joyce is the fool either. Now Joyce ain't crazy about life.
Joyce, no.
Joyce, and then they kept making mention about how he was hiding the money or he was doing whatever. And if she ever get, and a lot of things we turn a blind eye to until we have to.
Right.
So
Yeah, face it. Yeah.
so,
True.
okay,
God will
now
bring, he'll prepare the table
I
now.
was letting you, go out and say that you with your daddy and do whatever you doing, as long as you was keeping me happy. But when it get to the point where you making me look like a fool, or you talking about leaving me, or you talking about, messing up me and my family reputation, then it's a lot of stuff she probably, I'm more than certain she will step up and start looking at and paying attention to. So don't get me wrong, I don't think she's a fool at all.
Oh no.
Period.
And I do believe when she find out, yes, it's gonna hurt her, but it's gonna make her strong. Yeah, my money on Joyce. Joyce
And
all
she
the way.
said
I'm a
it-
Joyce.
and
Team Joyce.
she said in the
Listen.
beginning, too, when she got pregnant, she didn't care if he went on by her being or not. She had a baby. So I mean, it's not
What
like
she
that she was
said.
just so hung up that, oh, I need a man, So no, I agree. I agree.
Yep. I told
And even
Coretta
when
earlier
I'm not
today.
saying she's not strong. And I do believe she know. I believe she know he cheating, but I think what's gonna destroy her, he got them 3 kids, what I couldn't have. That's what I'm saying. And I think he know that, and I think he worried about his reputation and also their reputation, because he has more to lose. I do think once we get to the next thing, and that's just like any man, like I said, some men gonna be foolish, some of them gonna be, I guess you could say, wise, and some of them gonna be dumb. Like people all be talking about LeBron James. We never know what LeBron James doing, but LeBron James got enough common sense to know I got a legacy. I'm not gonna disrespect my wife. I'm not gonna disrespect my kids. So it's certain stuff I'm not gonna do as a man because I got a whole legacy standing behind me, and it's so many things I got going on. Temptation there, because I'm pretty sure he got every time he goes somewhere, I'm pretty sure he got 30 women in his inbox throwing themselves at him. But he got a whole legacy. It's no different from certain men. Odell foolish, but he don't realize it's like no, Odell dumb because you done made 3 kids. Three.
Three.
So he
Not
don't
one.
And another thing about Joyce, they show us in the book, the issue ain't that she can't get pregnant, because we see that she's very capable of getting pregnant. It's not like they've been trying all this time and she never got pregnant. We can see that she's capable of getting pregnant. So I think that they put that miscarriage in there for a reason. So
Yeah,
she may
it's
think
a
it's the right. We
reason.
see people all the time. You with this
Mhm.
person for 20,000 years
And can't
and
never
never
have no
get
baby.
pregnant, right? And then you meet John Bob over here, and y'all have a baby within 2 or 3 months. So
Yep.
it's not that, it's not that she could be dodging a bullet.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes God save us from ourselves, no matter
Yeah,
how hard we
she
try.
could very well be dodging the bullet. Maybe God's plan ain't for her to have no baby with Odell.
Mhm.
Maybe her knight in shining armor is really on down the line.
Might be Willie Frank.
And I
And
think
then,
I'm with Miss Doors.
and then
Out.
also,
Team Joyce.
I'm with Joyce now. I'm on Joyce
also,
side.
I know why we know she was turning a blind eye when Aunt Maddie talked to her that night and told her,
Mhm.
was just saying some things about, as a wife, or why he's having to go fishing by himself and go driving or visit his dad all the time, and the stepmom can't take care of him. Joyce went home and thought about that. She thought about it so much that she couldn't sleep.
Mhm.
So,
And matter of fact, she actually avoided going home to think about it. That woman ain't crazy. She ain't
That's what I'm
crazy
saying.
one
And when
bit. And
She know
it's easy to turn a blind eye to something when
when
you
you
don't
think
have
don't nobody
people
know.
on the outside telling you.
Looking.
It's one thing for you to know something, but it's another thing when other people in your ear trying to make you see it too.
Right. That hurt
Now
the
you
word. That's what I'm
feeling like
saying. That's
right
with
now you feeling
anybody.
like a fool because other people on the outside seeing it. But if you can stay in your own little bubble and be happy in your own little bubble, like how she was, like y'all leave me alone. I don't want to hear it. She didn't want to hear it. She wanted to be. She wanted to be. You know,
Because he made her
unaware.
happy. He
Yeah,
made her happy.
she didn't want to hear it intentionally. She didn't want to hear that.
But it's like Donna said in the beginning, they settled. She didn't know what she had ahead of her. She settled. He settled. They
yeah, but
settled.
I think when she find out about Betty
Mhm.
Jean and those kids, yes, Joy's gonna be hurt momentarily, but
Yeah.
Odell gonna be at that door.
Yeah.
He gonna be at the door.
And I wouldn't be surprised if what her name, Betty Jean. I felt some
Betty
kind of way.
Jean know that man married. Betty Jean don't
Well,
care.
no, I ain't. That's my point. I felt some kind of way about her whole approach to him.
Yeah.
Your last man was a married man with children. Now you with this man. I wouldn't even be surprised if all the children wouldn't even hit cheering. I know
That's
some
why
of
I
them
was
look
just gonna
like him.
say.
Like
That's why I was
some
just
of them
gonna say.
look
I
like
do
him,
not
but
believe. Because that's what I'm saying, and that's what gonna hurt him. He think he making a fool out of her. She young, but that girl knew what she was doing. She knew
yeah,
exactly
she
what she
went
was
crazy.
doing.
Now,
She
if
went
those not
crazy.
his kids, I would be very proud of this book. My
Now
thoughts
I
changed
believe
towards
So,
it.
so I
they
guess we
kept
already done voted on the next book. So we getting the next book correct. So I guess we already know the next book.
we need to go in that order. Yeah, we need to go in that order.
Yeah, we go ahead and order the next because it's a series. It's a series.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I want
all
to
I
see
can
what
say is
Odell
poor
gonna say.
Odell,
Mm-hmm.
poor Odell, thinking he got 3 boys and then being blackmailed for nothing, paying $8 for nothing.
Exactly. And look, the man that blackmailing him probably know who the dad is.
I said he might be
He
his
probably dad.
Look, Milton.
Yeah, I said
Milton
He
is
might
maybe
be the dad.
Milton probably daddy.
Or Caesar, the man he was with.
Yeah. Or don't
now.
say you see it all the time. These men be walking around proud thinking they be getting over on the women. You done hurt the last one, but the new woman done drug it through the mud.
Ooh, now that'll be good,
So just
especially if Joyce in
stay
there
with
hollering,
who you
Odell.
with, and stop running out there trying to find something else. And stay at home. Stay
Learn how to be
down and stay
content
at
with
the
what
house.
you have.
Yeah, learn how to be content.
Content with what you have. Sit down.
Well, my last word to the audience is get the book because it's getting gooder and gooder, as they say.
It is. It is. It speaks some
Get the
real
book.
life facts. So it's One House Over by Mary Monroe. So we're gonna thank you guys for logging on. Please get the book. Also, as Ms. Donna said in the beginning, sometimes you just have to be patient and wait instead of settling. You can't always settle because whoever God got for you, don't let the devil keep it from you. So
And
thank
you
you.
could be, look, you could be 30, 40, 50 years old. Don't rush it. Just wait. Just wait. Pray, be specific for what you want, and don't settle because you're thinking, I'm not going to meet anybody else. This is it. So I better go on and get him. And hopefully we can, he'll get those qualities that I'm praying for. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. You get something that you don't want, you end up in jail. He end up at the funeral home. Just wait.
Thank you guys. One House Over. Thank you for logging on to A Table for Queens. We will see you all next week. Join the discussion. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much. See you later, ladies.
Good night.